Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. So far, we only got one person in the chat. We got Hojo. What's up, buddy? I see you have offered to start sending me your homebrew. I am certainly not opposed to that. Currently, today we're going to be drinking again the Devil's Backbone Vienna Lager, which is always a delightful choice. You can never really go wrong. The last time we were here, I had tried this local craft beer that was an Arthurian that had like an Arthurian theme, and it was this pastry stout, and it was just god awful. Like, I don't think I even finished it. I think I got like halfway through the beer, and I think after the show I chucked it. I couldn't do it. Like my brother, who used to be a bartender and is a really big beer guy, came over like that night for like a family dinner, and I had him try it, and he was like, "Oh, this is gross." And I was like, "Yeah, that was my thoughts too." So definitely not doing a repeat of that. But anyways, it's been a long time since the last time we did one of these. I believe the last time was our Battle Brick Road show, which kind of spun off. And in case you guys didn't see, I ended up having a nice little rumble in the ring with Eric Weathers. It didn't go my way, but that these things happen. Hopefully a rematch someday. We've got comic creators, the creators outlet. Will is in the chat. How's it going, man? Good to see you here. Thanks so much for coming to check us out. So while we're waiting for my co-host, buddy, what I'll do is I'll say, so today is going to be a first. Generally, I've been doing independent comic reviews, but there have been some books that have come to my attention from the mainstream. We got Dave Brake in the chat. Greetings, everyone. And as you know, it's hard to just review indie books because, sometimes you get a lot of indie books at one point in time, and others you have droughts where you don't really have anything. I figure, why not take a look at some of these mainstream books that at least look interesting, right? Please don't be Neff. Genuine Comics is Dave Brink. I don't know if you're saying for me to not be Neff or for Genuine Comics to not be Neff, but whichever it is, I'm not Neff. Although I do expect him to show up at some point today and troll, because that's kind of his shtick. He is the person that started the hashtag Odin hates Eric thing anyway, and that we all saw how that ended up resulting. But so the point is that I ended up picking up a few books from my local comic book store here, and the ones we're going to be talking about. Oh, no, my co-host is Buddy Lord, our our Jurassic brother from Dinosaur Mother, who will definitely be here shortly. He said that he was running a few minutes behind. He was coming back from the store after just reading the books that I told him to get. And Hojo is in the chat saying that I love 20 Minutes from Devil's Backbone. I remember when it was just a little bar. Yeah, man, they've come a long way. I like their 20-minute IPA, but I love their Vienna Lager. Their Vienna Lager is like my perfect beer. Like, it's got all the notes that I like. It's got a good consistency. It's not too bitter. It's not too sweet. It's just got a nice little middle of the road thing. And maybe that makes me boring, but I genuinely genuinely enjoy the Vienna Lager. It's a good drink. And yeah, Devil's Backbone has blown up, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Hojo, but I think that they started in Richmond, VA, as a small brewery, and they have completely blown up. Where at this point, I can't speak for anywhere out of state, but pretty much everywhere in state you can get a hold of Devil's Backbone. So, and that's an incredible thing, you know. Speaking as independent creators ourselves, says they said they are a distillery now too. They sold out Bush. I was just at a taco shop that had their new sparkling margarita. Not my jam. Yeah, I remember. Actually, you know what? I remember them selling out to out to Anheuser-Busch. That was a pretty controversial thing because it was like, don't become corporate hacks, and well, money talks, I guess. But anyways, so the books that we're going to be reviewing today, we're going to do 3. I technically picked up 4 books last week, but we're going to focus on 3 because there are 2 that I genuinely want to talk about and 1 that we're going to kind of rip apart. Let's see, Loggers Are Hard. I'll be on Good Stuff's channel Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern to do a homebrew spot. It'll be very educational. Dude, send me the link for that when that is live. I will definitely come check that out. That'd be really cool. But so 3 books we're going to talk about today are Captain America, Sentinel of Liberty, issues 1 and 2, and Starhenge. So, as a base overview from my thoughts on things, both the Captain America books are great. It's been a very rough decade for Cap fans. Hold on. Hojo's saying, no, they're in the middle of nowhere at the bottom of Wintergreen Ski Resort. They built an entire highway of... Okay, cool. The more that you know, knowing's half the battle. But anyways, in terms of an overview for what the Captain America books, as I said, it's been I think the last time we had a good Captain America run was in 2012 with Rick Remender. The art wasn't my cup of tea because it was John Romita Jr., who I think is probably one of the biggest examples of nepotism in the industry. I think that he is not that good of an artist, and that his best work, which was on Spider-Man, is still not even all that great. And when he drew Captain America, it was absolutely god-awful. But it was saved with a very good storytelling from Rick Remender with Castaway and Dimension Z, and the run that followed alongside with that was all pretty good. And then things got bad with All New, All Different. And you had Nick Spencer taking over Sam Wilson Captain America and doing the Steve Rogers Captain America, which led into Secret Empire. And this is, of course, the infamous Hydra Cap run. But, it's one of those things that I feel as fans, we always take it for granted. It's well, it could always be worse. We got through the Spencer run and Steve was back to normal. And then we got Mark Waid, and Waid was partnered with Chris Samney. And the first few issues of that run were great before it turned into another political mess. And then literally the worst person that you could possibly imagine giving a Captain America run to, Ta-Nehisi Coates, had to run for 3 years where he went through 6 art teams at least. The only consistent artist on the book was Alex Ross doing covers, which I'm still convinced was the whole ploy was, well, even if this book is complete and utter shit, if we have an Alex Ross cover, some sad self-loathing collector will be like, well, I really don't want to miss out on an Alex Ross cover. So it's been as I said, man, it's been a rough past almost decade to be a Cap fan with the books. And I remember when the first promotional art came out for Sentinel of Liberty, I was like, oh man, that actually looks really good. Dare I hope? And so I had actually gone to the comic book store when I picked up the first issue. I'd gone to the comic book store because Jurassic League 1 and 2 had come out, and my son had seen the advertisements of it, and he's 4, so Justice League as dinosaurs was not a hard sell. But so I picked up the first issue, and I'll be damned if it wasn't like one of the best cat books I had read in a long time. The tone was perfect. The voice of Steve was phenomenal. The art was great. And I was shocked. And so issue 2 came out, I think last week or the week before. And the train keeps on rolling, man. It's a good book. And so yeah, like it's really, really just a good time to be a Cap fan. And then as far as Starhenge is concerned, it's got beautiful art, it's got a cool premise, and it has got some of the worst tonally inconsistent writing that I have seen ever. And so we'll get more into that here. I'm trying to wait for Buddy, but he's taken forever. He said that he'd be home in like 5-10 minutes from when I launched, and he's still not there. So I'm going to send him a quick message and see how he's doing before I start talking more in depth of the books. So as a reminder, last time we did Battle Brick Road. So if you go to the YouTube channel, if you've already read Battle Brick Road and had a chance to talk about it, to read it and get some thoughts in, make sure that you comment your review of the book on the last video. At the end of this one, I'll bring up the comment section from the previous video on live cam, like just as we've been doing, and we'll go through the reviews for Battle Brick Road at the end, towards the end of the show. And we've got Dave Brink is saying, I feel your bro Cap is your favorite. He deserves better. Yes, he does. He has certainly deserved better than what we've had for a long time. So it's been real nice to read a book. And Genuine Comics says he did receive the Company Men yesterday. Solid book. Yeah, man. We did. I think that was actually our first Brews and Reviews was talking Company Men, and it is a very solid book. I think that it is exactly the kind of thing that Lee had pitched. My only issues with it, and I think that I talked about this during that video, was that I felt that he overpitched. He sold us on the overall concept, but a lot of the things that he was talking about in his pitch don't happen in the first book. Oh, dude, I know. I'm right there with you. I served 6 years in the Army National Guard as an infantryman. I didn't do anything too exciting, but service is service. And as somebody that my dad's favorite superhero is Cap, my oldest brother's favorite superhero is Cap, and that's kind of bled into me. And as someone that's read Cap for closing in on 2 decades, it's been a very rough past few years. Oh God, Neff is in the chat. Okay, I read Starhenge. I'm sorry, Neff. When we get towards that part of the show, I can shoot you a link if you'd like. I'm still waiting for Buddy. I might just have to start talking about these books, and hopefully the Velociraptor will pop up shortly. I did just get a message from him saying that he is here. Hold on. Let's see. All right. So Buddy says that he'll be on here in just a sec. So with that being said, let's dive into Captain America, Sentinel of Liberty. And when Buddy is able to come in, he'll be able to chat as well because he's read all 3 books that we're going over today. So first thing about this book is the art. Like, let's talk about the art because holy crap did they deliver. I mean, what a way to start your book. You have this beautiful 2-page spread that showcases Steve at the center. They're kind of making the shape of the star in his stance. And each circle of the ring is dealing with a different thematic thing. And you've got this beautiful narration going on from Steve. And we are joined by Buddy Lord. And Neff says, thank you, Dave, but let them talk about something good before we talk about the dumpster fire. Yeah, man, like it's gonna be rough. And Arrogant Ape has shown up saying Cap might be the most mishandled character from the past few years. Batman might be a close second. I don't disagree with either of those. And both of those characters have had fantastic issues come out recently. The next one of these that we'll do for the mainstream ones will have a few issues by then, a few issues of the new Chip Zdarsky, Jorge Jimenez Batman run. The first issue was very good. But we're going to focus on the 3 that I stated today. Buddy, go on ahead and introduce yourself, friend.
Hello, I'm Velociraptor, or Theosaurus Rex, as people like to call me.
Oh, God.
I'm at Buddy Lord with 2 Ds on Twitter. Just recently closed a campaign called Sins of the Fae. Beautiful, epic fantasy, romance, magic, action, all the good stuff, kaiju, mechs. And, just here to talk comics with my friend, Mike. And, we've discussed these books a little bit, in the in phone calls. And now we're here to tell you what we think.
Yeah, man. So as I said, we're starting off with the Captain America books. So, the first book was a beautiful return to form. As I said, art is gorgeous. This page hit me really hard where he goes to this old rundown apartment building and rents out this room, and it's revealed that it's the room that he grew up in, and he's kept it to himself as a little secret. And he's looking at it, and one moment he'll see how it was when he's growing up, and one moment he'll see how it is now. And he has just this fantastic thing about how this is where he belongs after everything that he's gone through. He just needs to be home. And then you get this beautiful sequence of him running through Manhattan, making sure that everybody can see themselves in the reflection of the shield, so that they can remember
that
what the
page sets up the entire series.
It really does, and it is so freaking good. These writers really crush it.
I even the first page where they show the shield. And as you're going through the different colors of the shield and across the ribbons, whatever you call them, the circular pieces, the sort of concentric pieces to the shield, each one, like he says, he's like, this is hate, this is this, he's like talking about the different emotions that he's had to deal with being a soldier. He's like, I know these things. I don't know everything else.
Yeah.
He's like, I know war, and I know my feelings toward things. And then he's like, what don't I know? And you turn the page, he's like, anything else.
Hojo's saying, picked this up Wednesday. The first thing I said when I opened it was, thank God these guys get it. Yeah, man. This is a very refreshing change of pace for a Cap book. We got Aloise Dottle is in there. Aloise, the viewer. Hello, all. Aloise, welcome to the show. Mm-hmm. And then, halfway through the book, we get to see Steve suit up for the first time, and probably my favorite page. And so I'm going to do something that I don't really do here because I just freaking love this. But this dialogue right here just kind of sums up how these guys approach Cap, and it's perfect. He says, 104 years young, I've thrown every kind of punch there is and taken twice as many on the chin. But this part never gets old. The heroes who followed me didn't have the benefit of Dr. Erskine's Vita Rays, so they wrapped themselves in armor, technology, and self-made symbols. They had to work at it, forge something new, and hope to God it lasted. But I'm the lucky one. even in my worst fights and darkest days, because every time I step out into the field, I get to armor myself in meaning. Every day, I get to wield the dream. What a fantastic... Oh, and of course, it carries on into the next page. I forgot about this. And make it real. Like, what a fantastic handle on the voice of Steve Rogers. Just, wow. And Joe's letting us know this is literally the second Marvel book I've picked up since the Obama's first term. I don't blame you. But like, what a fantastic handle on Steve's character. And, you know, it's one of these things where the book really starts to set stuff up. And when it comes down to these runs that we've been getting is, you know, usually the first few issues are really good. And so the question is how long does that continue until they fall off the wagon? And I'm pleased to say that as of issue 2, we're still on the wagon. Issue 2 is very strong. You know, it starts off and Steve is understandably a bit shaken from his encounter with the bad guy at the end of the first book. And they're trying to decode these messages from a secret organization. Art remains like really strong. Like, I mean, just look at this beautiful page. Like, this is how this book starts off. Him taking a swan dive off the Statue of Liberty. Just what a badass way to open a Captain America book. Like, wow.
What I think it'd be a disservice not to talk about the level of quality that goes into the thinking of Captain America, not only as a soldier, but now as a person. Like it goes way into how he's like, it's been so long since I've had friends who are not superheroes or, you know, metas or or mutants or from another dimension or whatever, you know. And so he's just got like this regular group.
Yeah, man, and like to that point, buddy, this is probably one of my favorite sequences in the second book. Is there is a one of his neighbors in the apartment building is a little kid that he found getting picked on in the first book, and he's teaching him how to fight. And in an age where, you know, I have a kid, and so I pay attention to like PTA billboards and shit like that. Violence doesn't solve anything, and you know, you should talk to a teacher if you're getting bullied, and this, that, the other. It was so refreshing to have Steve Rogers taking on this kid under his wing and teaching him how to fight so he can stand his own ground. And like it's so good. And like, you know, Steve starts off the session and he breaks the punching bag and the kid's just like, I think that you broke. It's like, it's irrelevant. Like, so he says, you know, that, you know, the real lesson, Amari, is that most of the time one punch is all you'll ever need, which is why if those boys come back at you again, you're going to use the haymaker. You know, like he's teaching him effectively a life skill. He's teaching him, to fight, but to be able to stand up on his own, to be able to face the people that want to put him down and say no.
Well, you know, what he's teaching him, he's teaching him to do it on his own. He's not only teaching him that. It's like, what's great is at the end when he's getting ready, he says, so square up, get ready. He says, wait for that moment. Don't hit him in the front, move to the side. He's like, and then it's your turn to break the bag.
Yeah, man.
And you see the kid, like, he looks up and he smiles, you know?
Yeah, man. And he gets it.
Into the next generation.
He punches through the bag. Like Steve tells him, is like, you're reserving power, afraid the bag will punch back. Use it all. One strike, not at the bag, through it. And it's so good. It's just so good to see Steve Rogers be Steve Rogers.
And in the midst of this, he's saving the world.
Yeah, like in the midst of this, he goes to like a German power plant where the secret organization that was behind the stuff from the first book has sent a whole bunch of goons to take down the plant, and has a whole bunch of scientists and engineers captive. And you know, this is actually a point of controversy in it, because there's a critical thinker did or not critical thinker. Which one is it, buddy? It was
Wes from Critical Thinking. Yeah.
Okay, Wes from Critical Thinker. Okay, had done a video talking about how this second book has already dropped off the wagon because it it shits on soldiers because they follow orders. And like, I don't think when you read this in context, that is not what is being done here at all. You know,
No,
Steve.
it's very specifically like a homing missile. They want to hurt Steve Rogers, and they know
Man.
what he stands for, and so they are using very specific weapons against him to like be a tribute, but also be like almost rub his face in it.
Yeah, man.
Like it's not
like
yours, it's ours.
Yeah, man. And so like this Black Ops team is filled with people that he's fought over the years. You know, the first one that you see him fight, he cracks open their helmet and there's a Hydra tattoo on his head. He's fighting another one that's using like a martial art technique of the hand. He punches another one and recognizes the the design to be the design of the armor to be from AIM. And so then, like, while he's in the middle of all of this, a guy that isn't wearing a mask comes down at him with a knife and is telling him, this is your only warning, stand down. And Steve recognizes the guy as a SHIELD agent that he fought alongside with a while ago. And so he's asking him, like, what are you doing? Like you're fighting alongside Hydra, you're fighting alongside AIM, you're fighting alongside these bad people. Why are you doing this? And he said, well, I'm following orders. We're all just following orders. And so Cap goes, if there's one thing I can't stand, it's men who just follow orders. And I think that the important thing there is just, because Steve has always been a person that represents personal choice and freedom, right? As much as he is a soldier, it is like when the government tried to have him toe the line with Superhuman Registration Act, he went against it. When Vietnam was going on and Nixon and Watergate happened, he turned in the Stars and Stripes. This is a character that has always been about your personal core morals. And if you get told an order that you know is wrong, that you know is unconstitutional and unethical, and you don't deny it, you are in the wrong. And so, and on top of that, this was even a whole, to me, this is also a even reference to the Nuremberg defense, which during the Nuremberg trials for the Holocaust, a lot of Nazi high command, when they were asked why they did the atrocities they did, they said, well, I was just following orders. And so it's one of these things where all of that plays into it. And this is not, I do not see this as a dig on the United States military. I see it as what Buddy says, that they have all of these elements that are kind of meant to get under Cap's skin. Like they're trying to shake Cap. They're trying to get him off his game. They're trying to get him to give up. And it doesn't matter, because at the end of this freaking book, he looks up and he sees this massive drop ship that's got his symbol on it. And what does he do? Does he break down? Does he break down and cry like a lot of other characters would under current mainstream writers? No, he gets mad and he says, "You want my symbol? Come and take it." And it was like, I had chills. I was like, I'm ready for book 3, man. These guys have really outdone themselves. And on top of that, I don't know if the writers intended this, but the "you want my symbol, come and take them" line, like, to me, as a classicist nut, that is a clear homage to Milan Labe, which is what Leonidas said to the Persian emissary when the emissary asked him to like the King Xerxes will give you mercy if you will but lay down your arms. And so Leonidas responds in kind with, "Come and take them, Milan Labe." And so like beautiful. And if that was intentional, like, straight up hats off to them. What a great way to throw that in there.
I think it's more that because before that he had doubt. Like he's like, is this symbol mine? And in that moment, the doubt is like, gone. He's like, this is no. Even if this was your symbol, it's mine
not yours
now.
anymore. It's mine now, and it's the people. It's the symbol of the people I fight for every freaking day. You don't get to claim it. And I was just like,
yeah. I said once that I thought that courage is the hope that you can make a difference.
Yeah.
Because that's really what it is. To me, courage is the hope that you can make a difference. And he gets to hope for everybody. And that's, to me, what the dream is. It's the dream that the people behind, he gets to fight for the people behind him. It's just built different. Not everybody's like that, right? But Steve Rogers is, and that's why they get him. That's why the Shield, why I say that one page sets everything up, sets all the character and everything else up. He's not fighting, most of these guys, when you say I fight because of the orders, I'm just doing what I'm told. What you're saying is I'm doing this for me. I'm doing whatever this is for me. And he doesn't fight for him. He fights for everybody else. Like I like them to see their reflection in the Shield. And that's the biggest difference,
Yeah, man. And I completely agree. Like if you guys haven't checked out this book yet, I highly recommend. This is one of those things, man, where this is something that we have the power to do. Like we've been asking for books like this for freaking years. And that's not even an exaggeration. Make sure that if you have this is something to support. Like people know that I've pretty much for all intents and purposes, I've abandoned the mainstream comic book industry because I don't find it worth it. The amount of stories that are out there that compel me and everything, they're just not there. Cap always has a soft spot for me. But this is the kind of book that you want to support. Because if you support it, if you go out there and you make this one of the top selling comics that there are right now, they have no choice but to freaking listen. Oh man, Sentinel of Liberty is doing really well when the other ones aren't. There's probably something going on there. I had read the first issue of Symbol of Truth, which is the Sam Wilson one, and it was very mediocre. It wasn't bad, but it certainly wasn't good either. But do I think Marvel is course correcting?
No.
It's really hard to say, and I think it's too early. I think that the big thing is that a lot of, just like how you have in the indies, where you have people that get weeded out because they aren't able to produce or the books don't do well or anything like that. I think that what you're starting to have is a lot of people that were once pretty firmly cemented in the industry have realized that they're really not, or have gotten what they wanted out of comics and they no longer work in it. I don't know if there's an intentional course correction. I don't want to give these guys an overabundance of credit. But I have noticed that, the creators that have been doing good work in spite of it, that are practically the exception to the rule, have been getting increasingly more work. And the creators like Vita Ayala, who have shit sales and can't write to save their lives, have kind of been frantically taking work where they can, but you see them less and less on the headline.
Yeah. I just want to take a sec. Thanks, Arrogant Ape, for talking about Sins of the Fae. I appreciate it.
Yes.
We're doing our best, to make that the greatest book that I possibly can. I can't control my exposure or how people are going to accept things. What I can control is how good I make it, what level of quality I can attain, and we're doing our best. I make Xevious mad all the time, and I confuse him all the time.
Oh man. Well, so buddy, unless you have any other thoughts to add in on Sentinel of Liberty,
I would just say, it's a really good story. Okay. And this is coming from a writer, from a very, very, I'm very hard on writing, on just the craft of it. This guy knows his craft. This writer of Sentinel of Liberty, he sets up these little bits, these little pieces, these setups that pay off later, and you can see them. And I'm gonna, and it's very well done. It's not in your face. It's not blunt. He's not hitting you over the head with a golf club. He's giving you a carrot, and you turn around and you go, "Oh, a carrot," and you eat it. And
it's like oh wait, I remember this carrot.
You walk a couple of steps, and then you're like, oh, look at there. Whereas the next book we're going to discuss is more like a frantic 12-year-old went to the supermarket for the first time, and there were ideas in the impulse buy section, and he bought them all.
Oh, it hurts so much, doesn't it, buddy? Like seeing how gorgeous this book is, and then reading the words. The anguish is on the.
I know what it's about now. I read it enough now.
I mean, I know what it's about too, but like, it's bad. It's really bad.
Well, right. He's mixing like it's like Captain Planet meets King Arthur.
Oh. Goodness gracious.
And it's not, I don't know, like, he says, I almost felt ashamed. I didn't want to like it.
Is that for Captain America, Sentinel of Liberty, or are you talking about Starhenge?
I mean, if you like it, oh, well, you know.
If you like it, oh,
I can't, I just say, like, oh, God. I think it does have interesting ideas.
It has a great premise. It really does. Like it really has like a cool thing where they're trying to blend sci-fi with Arthurian lore.
Yeah.
And like when you hear that, you go, man.
There was a great movie with Jim Caviezel or whatever that blends like Nordic lore and like, you know, science fiction called Outlander. I actually liked that movie. That was pretty good.
I loved Outlander. I've seen that. That's like it. Like he goes back in time and they're effectively fighting a predator.
Yeah. And he brings one back with him, and it's like killing everybody, and then they have to go get pieces of his ship and make weapons. Which you know, and she says at the end they were like gods, you know, and so he was like Thor, you know, that chose to keep Odin away or something. And it's like, no, I'm staying here and adopting your child. I was like, oh, that's so good. You know, I could write stories on this, you know, but Starhenge is not that.
And so, like, all right, so Starhenge book
show
one,
the cover because it is gorgeous.
All right, so Starhenge book one, The Dragon and the Boar, is written, drawn, like the whole shebang, Liam Sharp. And my first red flag on this book was flipping around to the back cover. So here we go, camera. In case you can't read it, the first two names giving this book praise are
Kelly Sue DeConnick
and Brian Michael Bendis. And then like the rest of these guys I'm not familiar enough with. But they both sung this book's praise. And I went, all right, Kelly Sue DeConnick's kind of rings, like I think Buddy even pointed this out. We got Neff. And Neff is mad. Oh, shit. Look at his face.
So, this is as bad as Starblades.
Yeah, it is.
What is it with books that start with the word star? Like, this is bad.
I don't know, man.
Written, illustrated, and lettered by Liam Sharp. Logo by Liam Sharp. Cover by Liam Sharp. Failure by Liam Sharp.
Just
yes,
I say like read the first
nice
page,
to have you on this
and then
side of the
forget
panel
it has words.
Because before this show, Neff was giving me shit saying that, you know what, I'm just gonna hang out in the chat and clip together an Odin Loves Liam special. But it's so much better because he read the book and is now here. And not only is he here, he's got Neff is mad.
So there are some pages in this book that live up to the art promise on the cover.
Yes.
But the majority of the pages in this book do not do that.
Do you mean the first four?
This page is not that. Okay? This page is not that. The majority of the interior art, when they're just kind of talking, doesn't do that. We get this really cool spread, right? Which, you know, is nice because there's not a lot of words. Then we get with this thing. I hate when they do this. I really hate when they do this.
Bad.
However, this part of the book is the only good story part. This is the only interesting thing, and this is the only thing that's like interestingly written about their setting. And of course, it's because it's his mother.
Because it's not written like a 13-year-old angsty emo child.
Right. This is an interesting page. As far as the art is concerned, that's cool.
Neff, the prologue is written by Jeffrey Monmouth, so like we got to give credit where credit's due, because the dude, it kills me because this book starts off with this beautiful, like they've taken excerpts from Jeffrey Monmouth's History of Britain. So it starts off, "Woe unto the red dragon, for his end draws near, and his cavern shall be occupied by the white dragon that betokens the Saxons, whom you have invited here. Therefore shall the mountains and the valleys thereof be made level plain, and the streams of the valley shall flow with blood." All right. So like this is how this starts, and then let's go 4
pages in. Go 4 pages in.
It all starts in the future, and it went down, or will go down, something like this. The Boffins will actually figure out how to travel faster than light without breaking all of Einstein's rules. Amazingly, he stays right about most stuff with one big old blind spot, but I'll get to that later. So, having sorted out the problem of distance, ta-da!
Who's the narrator? Who's the narrator?
My guess, Morgana.
It's the shitty teenage girl from the present sequence.
Are you sure about that?
Yes. Because that's even in the description. That's even in the plot synopsis.
That's in the part you talk about at the end. She says, "I sent the person back."
Because I don't get that from this. I don't get for certain that the witch girl is the narrator.
And that's the problem.
That's who it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Per the official synopsis of the book.
She doesn't talk the way she does in the narration. She's annoying, but she doesn't have the same speech cadence. So the big problem with this book is the tonal dissonance between the art, the promised art, some of the art that's delivered, and the dialogue. Like, Monmouth's framing device is fantastic. We know there's going to be Arthurian stuff, but we jump around between these different settings, right? We jump around between, like, ancient Britain, where we have the Celts and the British, and like we have that going on. Then we have the far-flung future. Then we have some sort of weird exchange between a girl and her high school football sweetheart,
Okay, I can tell you what he's trying to say.
So before we go any further, I want to address it. Genuine Comics says, "What a shame. Leon Sharp is a great artist." And not every artist is a great writer.
Yeah.
And you know what? The reason I'm mad is because I wanted to like this book. I was excited for this book. I saw the art and I was like, this is the next Meta Barons. This is 2000 AD. This art is going to blow my socks off. And maybe a third of the art in this book kind of lives up to that. There's one panel that I really love and I took a photo of it. But that's like the only panel that I really love. Some of these little panels are great. But like the big panels, it's a lot of wasted, empty space. There's a lot of like designs that are overlaid, but those designs don't really matter much. That's not actually art. It's like geometry. Like over here in the corners, you've got like stuff like this, right? What's the point of that? This is all just empty space.
It's kind of trying to focus like a McKeon
separating
sort of
like
look.
These images. Right over here.
My problem with that is that's full bleed art on your right-hand side, my left-hand side of the screen. It's full bleed art, and then he threw a grid on top of it to make it feel like it was a progression of time.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying is he does that in like multiple pages of this book where it's just like, we don't need to do that. Like
it's lazy. He's trying to make us feel that one moment
lasts forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, exactly. Like it has a progression. That's what the idea of the panels. It's the same reason that Marvel does that whole copy pasta paneling. Like they take the same panel and they like make it happen 3 different times to make you feel like there are beats, there are moments. But the problem with that is that if you have a moment that doesn't change between moments, we argued about this once upon a time when we did the Captain America's shield and the reflection and all of that. You don't really get, like, you're going down to the infinitesimal, tiniest little bits of moment. You're not capturing specific beats. You know, on a page where it's full bleed art, it's one image, big, right? You can't chop that up into individual moments because you can't read the panels. What's in this panel here? It's half a dude's head. Like not like it's half the dude's head. His other the rest of his head is in this panel. So the language of panel, 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 each one has a beat, each one has a statement to make. It falls apart. You get one good panel up here with him against the tree, and then all of this is him against the tree zoomed in. You know, so one panel is the same thing as like 8 panels. I don't understand. I don't understand what they're doing here. So that's one of the problems, is just the way that the visual language in the book is confusing. Some of the art doesn't live up to what I want it to be, what I expected it to be. The narration is kind of, you know, it's very hit or miss. There is serious tonal dissonance between like a serious science fiction in the future and like, oh my god, which is, you can hear the voice. Right, you can hear the person's voice.
Okay, look, when the super extra dimensional metavelted whatever the hell alien looked to his significant other and said, "Let's bone."
Like, no, let's actually put it out there for what it is.
Okay, let's
buddy.
fuck. He says, "Let's
like,
fuck."
That's what the exact
I was like,
dialogue
I read
was.
that driving down the road. I'm like, "What the hell is this?"
Oh,
and then he goes and talks to his mother, and it's the most didactic, like not elegant, but what it's I think supposed to be, was like a machine. You know,
this is the only
like,
part of the book that I liked.
Yeah.
Well, and you know what's funny is you're talking about, it's like, yes, we sent this one person. I knew she was close to you, and it was like, wait a second, is that the person he just said let's fuck to like a page ago? How much time has passed? What's going on here?
There's a moment. There's a moment too where the sarcastic narrator says, "Old souls. What other kind is there?
Yeah.
Even the unborn kind turn out to be ancient." I'm waiting for someone to try and cancel Liam Sharp for being right wing. Unborn souls. I'm waiting for the Roe v. Wade argument to come out. I couldn't help it. The woman mansplains that history is written by the victors to her meathead football scholarship boyfriend who's never heard that expression before. The characters don't feel genuine or authentic. I just want to hear about the future. I just want the mother to be narrating the story because she actually told me what's going on. Those 2 pages gave me more information in that one spread than the entire rest of the book, which is all stream of consciousness nonsense.
Well, we know that a good chunk of the book's going to be taken in the past because the one character gets sent back and is in the Dark Ages now and is apparently now Merlin.
Dude, this book is a golf club. Remember I said the other one wasn't? This one is. You want me to tell you what the whole thing, this all hinges on? Heart. Because look at the 3 things it talks about. Body, the terraformer, whatever, the physical velt, right? Yeah. Then it's got the intelligence and the psychic velt. What's missing from that? Where's the magic? In the heart. That's it. That's the whole damn series. And
they talk about it. They talk about magic being gone, the knights being missing. So you know we're going to get Camelot. You know we're going to get, you know, King Arthur and his knights. You know we're going to...
Well, that's a big part of the book. Is that
showing... The woman at the beginning is the same, in my opinion, as the witchy woman. And she killed the messenger so she wouldn't have to talk to him because she wanted to do her own thing.
Yeah. She is a witchy nerd after all.
I guarantee you want to know what that's going to be?
Easily distracted.
And she calling it right now, as we're discussing this, that witch at the beginning of the book is going to be the Wiccan that's narrating the book, and she's Morgane Le Fay.
I just said the guy that,
and she's the narrator. You know what? I'm not going to find out.
That's fair. Mo Biggs is.
I'm not going to find out. I got issue 1, and I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
It's a load of crap, is what it is.
Like I said, these ideas would be really good in better hands.
At least it was only $4. Okay, at least it was only $4, and I don't feel like I wasted $25 on something like this.
I went to 4 separate comic book shops. I don't ever want to hear by the left that the comic book industry is doing great, because I went to 4 separate comic book, but by Google said they were open. The first one I was at was that Raptor Comics. They didn't even open anymore. They said that they only open by request. Like, you have to call them and get enough people to come in and all this other kind of crap. The 2 others didn't sell new comics anymore. The 4th one, I'm like, I'm calling you in advance.
My local comic shop is surviving. They had to do fundraisers where they did flash liquidation sales of enormous amounts of their back stock so that they could, free up space and try and make money. I went and I bought a bunch of back issues, and I got sick from the dust that was in there. They were really old and triggered all my allergies. It was nasty. But so it's surviving. It's limping along. This was the only copy of Starhenge on the shelf, and I asked them how many they'd sold. And there was 2 other copies, so they ordered 3 issues of Starhenge. So when everyone's talking about they have a whole bunch in the back, no, they ordered 3 issues and that was it. These guys, when they want to get variant covers and stuff, sure, maybe they'll order large chunks of comics, but the LCS that I go to, it does not have an enormous amount of stock because it can't afford to carry that stock.
Yeah.
So I don't know what people are saying about comics being in a great place as far as floppies are concerned. I mean, I agree that manga and graphic novel sales are through the roof, but floppies really aren't holding their own anymore.
No, and it's because of quality. It's because of quality books like Starhenge.
Right. I was psyched. I was like, dude, a floppy I want to read because it looks really cool. I don't want to read it, but you know what I do like?
Neff sent me the link on this 3 times.
I was like, dude, it's King Arthur in space.
And I was like, hell yeah, I'm down.
I felt like it was Knights of the Magical Light, Visionaries, right? I got that feeling, and I was like, oh, it's Meta Barons, it's all the art that I love. This comic, on the other hand, though, do a power bomb. This comic's the bomb. I mean, that's Daniel Warren Johnson, of course, but he's a writer and an artist who can hold his salt. He really puts out product, and that's the thing. He's also working for Image. So we got DWJ doing Image, and then we got Liam Sharp doing Image. 2 writer-artists doing their thing. One is a hit, one is a miss. It's like a gamble, right? You never know whether or not you're going to like what's coming out, so why take the risk?
I don't know. I mean, I was
at least it was $4.
Now I understand why Liam was so mad at me when he showed me the words, and I was like, I don't really like them. I told him months ago. I was in I was in DMs with him, and he's like, "What do you think of this?" And I was like, "I really don't like that narration, man. That's just so weird. Who's doing that to you?"
It's out of place. The tonal dissonance between the art, the words, the setting, none of it really is cohesive. None of it feels like it's well connected. It all feels kind of like mishmash, jammed together. It doesn't feel like
a 2,000-year-old soul talking like that.
Not at all.
Yeah, that's it doesn't feel like
real.
If they had taken a page out of Neff's book from Mavericks and have it be that the Jeffrey Monmouth portions were the narrations of the book. And so you're drawing parallels.
A framing device. Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost as if that's the whole point.
That's what I thought we were getting on the first page. I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. Classical literature and awesome art. That's right up my alley.
I thought it was, when I first saw it, I was like, okay, I'm not really into sci-fi. But then I saw a couple other images where it was more fantasy. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll give this a shot anyway. But I actually never knew it was written by him until today. Mike had to come in and tell. He's like, dude, it's written by Liam. I was like, what? And I look in the credits, and I'm like, oh my god, Liam, why?
Hojo just commented, okay,
I'm
damn
sorry,
it, I was
Hojo.
mowing the grass listening to you. I was going to save it for later today. I cut it off and went inside. What in the actual fuck? I think this just made me sober.
It is.
I'm going to get fucked up for you, buddy. Don't worry.
It is so like I don't know. It's so
bad.
disappointing. The idea is like I get it. The meta velt, the hyper velt, the whatever velt. It's like okay, it's it's not new.
Well,
It's interesting.
like I think that the
the
overall
art
thing
accompanying those ideas was awesome. I was like,
Yeah,
I would have liked to see more of these mechs. Show me those.
Yeah, the space age art. The space age art was really cool. The sci-fi art was great. The other stuff, I didn't really feel it.
And I like how he's like, I think it's super corny, but like I thought it was really funny that he's like, yeah, like if we want to stand any chance against the Mordred knots, we need to get the knights back. And I was just like, oh,
more hyphen dreadnoughts. I was like,
Dreadnoughts.
yeah, I see what you did there. Yeah.
You're so clever. You're so clever.
I mean, if I wasn't already disappointed by the time I got there, I'd give him a pass and a little chuckle and be like, "Oh, cool, Mordred knots. I'm already involved
Well, it's
and
also
invested."
like the Merseek and then Merlin, and he's oh, so you're like Excalibur plus the Lady in the Lake. Got it.
But it doesn't feel like this was like, sci-fi fantasy chocolate and my peanut butter. This felt like chocolate and crushed glass. This is not something that I wanted to put together and then consume. This was like, no, this is not for me. I really like, I don't know what to say because I expected it to be better.
I'm gonna retweet this video with tag Liam Sharp and quote and put in quotation marks. Like, this isn't sci-fi chocolate and peanut butter. This is sci-fi chocolate and
crushed glass. I mean, I feel you, dude. Like I said, I thought I was.
It was
really
painful
hoping,
to read, man.
It was. It's really bad.
I had to.
Well, I told you, Neff, when I read, like, because the first time I tried to read it, I got like 6 or 7 pages in, and I was like, I can't. And I straight up hit up Neff right after that. I was like, hey man, do you remember how you were really excited about Starhenge? And he went, yeah. Don't be excited about Starhenge. I was like, no.
I think I still have the DM where I was like, no. These 2 pages, Liam, give me an entire book of these 2 pages, maybe not with the layout that these 2 pages have, but with the story and the way that you narrate and just like the ideas. Give me these 2 pages of ideas in an issue. I will buy it. I will buy it all day long.
It's already done.
But that's 2 pages out of 24.
I mean, that's the thing. This is already done. Whatever it is,
What does he say?
Oh, so Arrogant Ape and Aloise are having a conversation about Tommy Gun Wizards, and Arrogant Ape is telling her that it's a pretty bad, it's a pretty bad book.
I think your word for it is to keep away from anything that Sue DeConnick. Oh yeah, plasters her name on.
Yeah, that was my first red flag about this book. As I said, like I turned the book over. I was like, oh, this is a really cool cover. I turned the book over, and the first feedback was Kelly Sue DeConnick praising it, and I went, ah.
But it's funny. Read what they say. Read what she says. She basically says the art's great.
Like, there's some backhanded sass with this. The kind of quote-unquote epic you crave, both noun and adjective, and even that doesn't quite capture Liam Sharp's astonishing scope and vision. There's magic in these pages. Like, there's some backhanded sass there.
I think most of them are. I think they're basically saying, like, the art's really great. What do we say? I think they went to their, when they were told to make these referrals, they're like, look, some of this art's great. What else do you want us to say?
I can't help it. Pretty. I see the word artistic, and I'm dyslexic, so you know what I read when I read the word artistic, right? You are about to experience next level artistic event by one of the great voices in all of comics. And I was like, yes, autism all day long in this comic book. Yeah. Like, the dialogue delivered by the narrator, main character, whoever she is, really just doesn't.
The relationship,
thoroughly autistic.
The relationship between the witchy whatever and the football player, I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever read.
Good.
Can I put that on the back of the book? It's autistic. Neff. just that.
Autism.
The book is autism.
I agree.
Autism, the comic book.
And it's not even like the good kind of autism where you get hyper focused on details and like, you know, like you, Odin, you get the really good kind of autism for history and stuff. You get hyper focused on shit and you know it down to like the core of its being. This is just the spazzy kind of autism that like, you know, like spurgs out in the middle of the room and doesn't, you know, doesn't feel good.
It's like a 12-year-old that went to the supermarket of ideas, walked down the impulse buying aisle and took it all. They just bought it all. And then they're like, I'm going to make a story out of this. And you're like, what?
Why?
Like, you know.
That's the thing, though, Ape. I wanted to like it. I really did. Like,
it's got a great premise. The hook's good.
It is.
And I don't dislike Liam. Like, I don't dislike Liam Sharp. I like, you know, some of his stuff, but, you know, I wanted to be positive. You're right. I wanted to be positive. I wanted to come on here and say that there are parts of this book that could pay off. There is a mystery, but that was the other thing. It's like, I don't care about the mystery. You turned me off from trying to like, oh my God, there's Knights of the Round Table and intergalactic space travel. Oh man, cool. I can't wait to unravel the mystery of who these people are. I don't give a fuck. I am not invested. Yeah. This woman got me uninvested. You know when Kelly Sue DeConnick goes, what comic books are you reading? You know that? I'm reading this one. That's what I'm reading. And I'm not having a good time.
I mean, she's also the person that was like, we're really worried about the state of the industry. I was like, yeah, gee, I wonder. Have you fucking read your books?
What are the sales like? I mean, I wonder what the pre-orders were like on Starhenge.
We won't know that for another 2 or 3 months. Comic-Con has gotten like really iffy about posting those numbers. I think that they're like worried, because they know that people are doing like sales analysis videos now, and like I'm sure they're getting yelled at. But like, you're making us look bad. It's like, it's not our fault that the books don't sell.
I want to see the POS side, the retailer numbers. And they did that once upon a time. Is Comic Hub, was that what it was called? I don't remember. But it was software that retailers could install in their POS to keep track of everything, to catalog everything that was purchased, and then to compare that to numbers on the Comic-Con side. So that we actually had that comparison of what's being ordered, what's being sold. And I think that they're terrified we're going to actually invest in that now.
So as to not gatekeep the Mo, you would have known not to get your hopes up if you read the prequel, The Once and Future Klingon. And
I mean, that might not have been bad though. Like Worf pulls the batleth from the stone. Like I could have seen that. All right, I don't get involved. Yeah.
We need an animated Animaniacs style segment called "Good Autism, Bad Autism."
Bad Autism. Yes.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I agree. We should get Dying Days to animate it.
Absolutely. I'd be down.
All right, it's 3:00. I had to come on and rant, but I got to go do like work stuff. So thanks for having me on, guys. I'm going to bounce out of here and take it easy.
We're going to be wrapping up our show here as well. Neff, let people know where they can find you and what have you. Most people here know
on the internet. I'm on the internet, like in places.
You don't look like Maverick or anything like that. Nothing.
What?
All right, you guys. I think that's it for our show here today. Before we go, actually,
you guys, we gotta go. F you guys.
We got to go and look at the reviews from Battlebrick Road, see if there's anyone that's posted up their thoughts on the book, and then we'll share screen. So give me just a second. I would have gotten this set up sooner, but
I was on the road.
Neff came on, and that was golden. So currently we don't have any reviews. We did get a comment from the guy that was the writer of Battlebrick Road, and he was very humbled for the good review. and he promises that we're going to get a lot more of Scarecrow in part 2. And he says, let me know if you ever want to chat Battlebrick Road Volume 1 or comics in general. We'll have to get him on the show and chat sometime. I think that'd be a good time. Maybe he can
Hatfield
settle.
Was, he wrote a really good book, so I would be interested, to have him on to pick his brain.
Telepathic Bunny points out Neff was so upset he didn't shill. Wow, he was pissed. Yeah, no, like words cannot describe how disappointing this book is.
I mean, even the art style, like he was pointing out, like some of it was vintage quintessential Liam Sharp art, right? But then you had some stuff where he's like trying to copy Dave McKean. Because like Dave McKean has a lot of images, especially like Arkham Asylum and in Sandman, where it's like he just puts like a typewriter in the middle of the page, and then like it breaks up a typewriter or something and has an exploded parts diagram of something on a sepia tone page, and then like a dude walking across, and that's it. That's the whole page, and then Gaiman comes in and writes something, and it seems like he was trying to do that with like the diagrams and the star charts and all that other stuff, but it just didn't work.
Yeah, no, and I'd agree with that. Since we have a comment here in the chat, Teleback Bunny says that he thought that Battlebrick Road cut off about 5 pages short. I felt that where it cut off was a good place to cut off in terms of getting you hyped for the next book. Like it leaves you wanting more. My big issue is that Scarecrow, and I had said this in my video, that Scarecrow was their version of Scarecrow was such a prominent part of their marketing that I kind of felt cheated that I didn't get to see him for more pages. But outside of that, I thought the book was great. Mo Biggs is calling it the quote unquote good review and states the review was basically a hate crime. No, it wasn't. And Arrogant Ape says that he forgot to comment here, there. Ape, if you want, I can even shoot you the link if you're free to hop on and you can chat. You can give your review of the book real quick. But otherwise, we have been here for an hour. I'm sure that my Velociraptor compatriot here has other things that he'd like to do with his day. It is a Friday after all. So, buddy, going ahead.
I gotta go to the gym before I go get donuts.
Yeah, man. That's great.
You can find me again at Buddy Lord on Twitter with 2 Ds at the end there. Buddy's always got 2 Ds. Or at bladenight.com, spelled BLADENITE.com. We are going to start selling the book from the website at some point, and there will be another campaign on Kickstarter with more goodies. We're going to have a collectible box, a hardback, a plushie, a few other things. We've just been coming out. We got a new. I haven't released it to the public, but I've released it to some friends, and so far they love it. 6 a.m. gave us a rendition, a chibi rendition of Remington, the baby-sized dragon.
Yeah.
And everybody's loved that so far. So I can't wait to share everything with you. Odin and myself and X have been working on other things. So, what do you got, Odin? What are you working on?
Well, right now, I've been working on a lot of stuff, right? SPQR just finished up its campaign. They finally closed it out after 6 opt-out requests. They finally decided, we should probably do something about that. So that campaign is closed. The colored pages of Elysian Fields were the only thing we were waiting on. So those are finished. And so now the letterer is finishing the letters on Elysian Fields, and everything is being set for pre-press. So we're hopefully getting to the printer very soon. And yeah, I mean, as far as other things that we're working on, I did a video not too long ago about the future of Nine Realms Publishing. So we have a whole bunch of exciting projects we've got going on. Currently in production, we have Judex and Romans versus Zombies that actively have pages being worked on as we speak. And yeah, it's going to be a very exciting time, with Xevious being busy with Sins and everything. I ended up finding another artist that I feel is really, really good for Judex. He has a beautiful pencil and ink style that I might not even get colored because of, Judex takes place in 1940s Vichy occupation Paris, and the black and white feel, it's so strong. Like the way that he draws is just so good. It's one of those things where I'm worried that coloring it could actually ruin it. So, but so we're doing that, and then there's a lot more stuff to come. I'm actually also writing a script for the second SPQR's Bizarre Adventure, which will be fun. And once we have the first book printed and out and start fulfillment, I will announce the title and cover for the next book, because they're both done. So yeah, thanks so much everyone for tuning in here today. And please be sure that you this is a mainstream dumpster dive. So, if you are going to support any mainstream comics here in the next few weeks, Captain America Sentinel of Liberties issues 1 and 2 were fantastic reads, and you can skip out on Starhenge clearly. So yeah, thanks so much everyone for coming out. Thanks Mo Biggs. We owe everything to you. There would be no show, there would be no chat with the king of the chat. So yeah, thanks so much. And we're out.
Thanks guys.